Hello and welcome to the first Hollywood Metal stream of Eternal Crusade. Today we'll just be dicking about with this. Not entirely like our usual fare in that it's set in the far distant grimdark future of the 41st millennium, but equally like our usual stuff in that it's about fantasy races murdering the fuck out of each other. Now, what you'll notice is that we have the traditional fantasy races. We've got the Orc, we've got the human guy, we've got the evil human guy, and we've got someone else. There's like another race that you can be, but they're incredibly forgettable and dull. Yeah, I think they're like elves? I want to say elves. Doesn't matter. And yeah, now I'll be playing as an orc, because fuck it. The orcs are, of course, large, green, and naked most of the time. Well, naked comparatively. Everyone else wears some kind of super-duper high-tech armour, and orcs wear bits of leather and, like, a little bit of metal. They're not, like, big on strategy or doing things properly. They're very low-tech like that. It's quite good. Their guns probably shouldn't work. It's a nice bit of orc lore. I don't know. If you're not familiar with Warhammer 40k, the Orks are essentially a race of fungus people who reproduce by the medium of explosions. So when an Orc runs out into a battlefield and gets cut down by explosive ammunition, then he blows up and bits of spores go everywhere, and that is how an Orc reproduces. You shoot an Orc in the head with a missile and you're essentially giving him a very long-range orgasm. That's basically how they do. Also, because they're, you know, a race of barely sentient, lazy, angry, Yorkshire fighter people, that their technology works because they think their technology works. It doesn't actually have any mechanical sense to it. They're just kind of very vaguely psychic in an enjoyably, like, fuck it kind of way. Like, it was clear at some point the creators of this game, Games Workshop, were just confronted by the fact that they've got a the frame rate's eating shit there for a moment. Oops. It's clear that at some point the makers of this game, Game Workshop, were confronted with the fact that orcs don't make sense. They're not like a sensible fantasy race. They make sense in fantasy where a piece of wood and a rock constitutes a deadly weapon, but not so much in the future, where everyone's got lasers. So they got around it that way. Just, well, it looks like it works. Orcs think it works. That is everything we need. Am I frozen? Am I frozen right now? Oh, music's gone. Music's back. Come on, video games. Don't you fuck up video games. Yeah, this is Eternal Crusade, as you will be mind, as you will probably be aware at this point. It's a bit broke. It's a tiny bit broken. It doesn't. Oh, Jesus Christ, that picture there has caught me the wrong moment. There we go. It's a tiny bit broken. And what I mean by that isn't that it isn't any fun. Like, the game is... What there is of the game is very good, and it hit release like 3 days ago. It's just that there's a patchy kind of feeling to it. Some things are clearly very well done. Others feel a bit... vestigial, I think is the term. They don't feel like they're fleshed out, like they have a purpose in the game yet, and that's a shame, because there's clearly a lot of potential here, and we're about to begin. It was promised as like a planet-side full world thing, and then it's been reimagined, you know what that means, as a lobby shooter. And I mean, don't get me wrong, the maps are friggin' humongous compared to any other lobby shooter that I can think of. This has probably the largest and most interesting, and we've paused again, maps. As you're gobbing grunt. Yeah, Orks. I will say this, that for a yeah, fuck it, sluggers. For a game with this kind of like level of just squad up with more people than oh shit, Bravo squad, fuck yes. The more people you're in a squad with, the better off you're probably going to be. It's very squad based. It's very like keyed into this idea of you as a small group of dudes. Wow, those textures just load in. Ah, fucking hell, 30 FPS. Like it. There are issues. I'm not gonna pretend there aren't, but for the most part, it holds together remarkably well, and it's actually quite fun. I don't know how much of my enjoyment of it is based around the just the license though, the IP. Warhammer 40k, something I'm a big fan of. I'm probably gonna lower the textures. There we go. Jesus Christ, this is running like dog shit. Usually it's better than this. I suspect it's having a allergic reaction to the recording software I'm using. Yeah, this is worse than normal. Wow, I am not selling this right now, am I? No, because I am actually whatever. I am a fan of this. Like, I think this is a game worth getting. I think this is something worth playing. Not for 40 quid, which is the fucking random number that was spat out by the random fucking number generator that they've decided counts as a price now for some fucking reason. It is because that is not what this game is worth, gentlemen. Yeah. Fuck you, mate. Shit. Like that was, yeah, that was melee combat. That was for a second. I'm gonna see if I can adjust these fucking settings so I can get a frame rate that a human being could enjoy. High? Let's call it medium, mate. Let's call it medium. Oh god, we're having some issue. There we go. Nope, that's hang on, because it's windowed now. It's quite back. Is it Alt Tab? No, there we go. Alt. Yeah, we go. Now we're fucking. I mean, we're getting 7 frames per second on a menu, so. But hopefully it will boost back into normal playability in just a hot second. Seems better. Nope. I talked way too soon. Jesus Christ. My CPU is hit 100%. This is a fairly intensive fucking game. I imagine just because, like... And this is an unusually laggy experience we're having. I guess this might be something I have to learn if I'm going to stream gameplay of a fucking... very complex online fucking experience. I'm just going to help this friend. This might be more me talking and laggily junking around the world, but I assure you, oh dear God, do I assure you, I live in the fucking boonies, yeah? I live in a town with more horses than men, and I get a pretty decent frame rate, like, and my latency is quite low, so it's nothing, like, if you live in the fucking wilderness, like I do, you can still have a good time with this. You just can't stream and have a good time with this. That's asking too much. Fuck you, mate. There we go. I bit my lip, which is a moment of true tension. Yeah. What I do like about this is that friendly fire is always turned on, and it pretty much does 1-1 damage, which means that if your friends are engaging in melee, you can't just sit at the back and fling bullets downrange. Like, you've really got to... Fuck you! You've really got to think about what you're doing, and it makes melee combat useful. Not as useful as grenades, but useful. I'm going to change and be a shooter instead. Yeah, fuck it, actually. Giant guns. Because at the moment, the meta, if you can tolerate somebody talking about the fucking meta, as though a video game was a system by which you're simply trying to win instead of having any fucking fun. The meta, God, I hate that, is basically the bigger the gun, the bigger the prizes. You're almost never gonna regret just taking the largest, nastiest fucking weapon that you can find, because at the moment at least, being a sneaky, fast little bugger doesn't seem to work very well with the systems as implemented. See, that guy stood no fucking chance. Didn't stand a chance, mate. Phew. Like, even with the turbo lag, and I'm done. Yeah. This might have been a terrible choice. I may live to regret what I've done here today. Nah, just regular chat with gun, and this is a lot of it. This is a lot of what this is. A very small loop of enjoyment built around getting out there, shooting some fox, running past a tank that will explode. Oh no, that chap with the heavy lava did that. But yeah, like the art style for the jumping off point is fantastic. Like usually, almost always, the game works and does what you'd want it to do, which is simulate the experience of being a very angry man in a terrible world doing a lot of killing. The Orks, of course, are doing it because they like it, and also because to them this is sex. But of course the Imperium are doing it because they're the Empire. They are the humans, or the Umis. Fuck. These the Umis, disease. Yeah, that's basically how the Orks talk. That's not a good impression, you should be aware, but as close as I come. The Orks are Cockney, but they're like fantasy Cockney. They're a Cockney that you've never actually heard in the real world, because it doesn't truly exist in the real world. Fuck! There's also such a thing as suppression, which I think is quite an interesting idea, and I don't think I've seen it anywhere else, wherein if you're getting shot at, if you're within the cone of somebody's fire, even if you're not getting hit, it does reduce your visibility quite significantly. So you're going to have a much harder time shooting back, just by the virtue that they're already shooting at you. So you've got to wait for them to stop and reload. So even if someone has a much less accurate weapon than the one you're packing, they will be able to prevent you from shooting them just by instilling your character with terrible, terrible fear. Which I think what we've always wanted since we had video games. The ability to just make people shit themselves about the very concept of you being over there. It's nice. That said, of course, there's a lot of shit that there's a lot of shit endemic to the... Oh, someone else is driving that. Excellent. I'm just gonna stand around this tank and roll into boxes. Who fucking park? Yeah, the vehicles are especially laggy. But it seems to be more an issue of CPU speed than, like, graphics capabilities. It's not excellently optimized at the moment, but as I say, despite the fact that this is, like on paper at least, a... Fuck you! Oh no, that's just gonna detonate in the air, isn't it? Yes. I do like that the grenade, like, trajectories are always spot fucking on. Like, you never just hurl a grenade and it doesn't go, it goes in the rough direction of where you thought it would without... Oh, fuck. That was me. Never goes in the rough direction of where you hoped without actually just perfectly matching that swing. It makes grenades a lot easier to use without the option of you accidentally just stab... Without you know, going wrong and you pulling the Medal of Honor kind of fucking gimmick of hurling a grenade off of something, bouncing it back onto yourself and blowing your friends up. I mean, and you might miss that. It's certainly not something everyone hated, was that fucking chaotic happenstance. But in a game like this, where playing it as a team is the very point, Fuck you, mate. At the moment, playing as a Storm Boy, which is basically just an orc with a fucking missile strapped to him. Jesus, no, the frame rate is eating piss right now. This is fucking disappointing. But other than that, not bad. Like it says something. Oh shit, the bed. The combat, I will say, tends to be more about placement than twitch reflexes. Not a lot of the guns are very accurate, and those that are, the weapons that you would think of as a sniper rifle, is the zap gun or the las cannon if you're anyone but the orcs. Say zap cannon if you've got a sense of humour about what you're doing in the future, fighting wars, and las cannon if you're a boring fuck with a pension. And how they seem to have decided to balance the it's an instant killing anti-tank, anti-person weapon that fires with perfect accuracy and kills anything it hits. The way that they balance that is by having it have a really long charge-up time that only spools down when you're pointing at the thing you want to kill. So either you have to be an inhuman skill, either you have to be a fucking master at can I just jump up there? I mean, I can fucking fire myself up there. So either you have to be a fucking wizard when it comes to... Yeah, they can just eat that. When it comes to aiming, sorry, with the zap cannon, or yeah, that'll happen. If you have to be a fucking wizard, god damn it, I will get through this point eventually, or you have to be facing at someone who is, say, taken an emplacement somewhere, who's stood still, who thinks that they can camp down and get some shit done, and often they can because, as I say, heavy guns are the meta. But not always, not always. Someone with a zap gun, because obviously if you're firing something of ridiculous, this is less than ideal. Is this frame rate? I'll say that for it. It is also clearly something for people with friends, as in, one guy by himself is not going to have the kind of experience that, say, 5 or 6 people playing this together would have. Because you want that kind of camaraderie, that kind of working in a team. And I know that's not what I'm doing, but you should do as I say, and not necessarily as I do. Because I'm occasionally an idiot who doesn't know what's best for himself. Fuck you! Yeah, have you noticed that because of the crappy frame rate, I'm basically just hurling myself after this one dude who doesn't seem to know where on earth he wants to be. That's because the frame rate's crappier, so I'm hurling myself after this one dude. Jesus! Yeah, you get some fairly serious... I will say I'm out in the boonies and also live streaming this. Oh my god. Okay, I thought I was pulled a fucking Sonic 06 and was stuck to the ceiling there for a second. But it turned out that it wasn't no use. That is a clumsy fucking reference there. Jesus Christ. Yeah. Murdered by my own... Well, see, Orkman Loot Grabber is responsible for my unfortunate demise there. And that's just because that's what fucking happens when you're trying to go melee in a place where everyone else is shooting. You'll get shot. Oh, come on, lads. If we catch a C, we've not caught it before this map, we'll get about 8 fucking minutes. It should be plenty of time to get done with anything we need to do. We're quite close. Oh, 5 minutes. Yeah, we've got this. We've pretty much won this match at this point. Unless they can get us off them. There's a lot of us about here, so they might have some trouble. about like a motherfucker there. Yeah, it's not fun. This has been 20 minutes of one match, and I don't know, there's quite a lot of tension in it, to be honest. I'm gonna go and poke around A. There will definitely be guys just waiting here. Oh, look at this chump. Right, knobhead. Oh, he thinks he's hard. That's why you play a shooter, Stormboy rather, to be honest. So that you can surprise one fucker with a giant gun who reckons he's done a really good job of positioning himself. And then you drop out of the sky. You're a giant, angry fucking orkoid dropping out of the goddamn sky with a missile on your back, and then you stab him in the fucking kidneys. And that is tremendous. That's what fun is. You look up fun in the Webster's Dictionary, there's a description of what fun is, because they don't have pictures in the Webster's Dictionary. But if you look up fun in one of those children's dictionary with pictures, you'll see that. And now we're capturing A. At this point, not because we have to, but because we're smug. We're smug about ourselves. Fuck you, mate. That red circle in the middle is, if you're playing a melee class, murdered by my own friend. If you're playing a melee class, you have the ability to lock onto people, so that you, and it only works when you're swinging melee weapons or specific pistols that don't do a lot of damage, but you can lock on with them, which means they're pretty handy for, say, choppers and, rather, assault classes and jetpack guys. You see, you get points. Points mean handy stuff for your guns and XP. AP works into like upgrades. XP levels you up. Levels get you more upgrades. Requisition. See, I got 3,000 requisition for that. I wasn't doing tremendously well. I got 3,000 requisition for that, which is 3 regular items. Like, because there's like a loot box thing. Like they dole out what you're getting via loot boxes. So, and you buy loot boxes with requisition. So, like, you can buy 3 shitty loot boxes. Oh, look, it's that other race who are entirely forgettable. I hate the. All right, I'm gonna play this match against the Eldar, despite the fact that I usually wouldn't, because the Eldar are hilariously unbalanced at the moment, and I think there's gonna be some joy in just like getting in a fight with the Eldar and watching as, despite all what you'd assume, they just stomp the fuck out of Orks in every conceivable direction because they're massively overpowered. And they're overpowered, of course, because they were the last race to be added to the game. In early access, they turned up, I think, at the same time as the Orks, but the Orks were vastly underpowered. And they buffed the Orks, but they didn't nerf the Eldar. So now we have ridiculously overpowered Eldar and Orks that are on the same level as the Marines and the Chaos Space Marines, but not where you'd expect for the game to work, which is nice. I'm just waiting for the game to unfreeze, because it freezes when it's loading, apparently. It's not something it usually does, and I don't know if you can hear me right now, but it's not something it usually will do. Typically, it doesn't freeze, it's it's an irregular, like, loading spool up, like it doesn't want to, like the percentage increase down there isn't by any means regular, but it doesn't fucking freeze your computer. I think that's got more to do with the fact that I'm streaming there, I think else. But anyway, I'll probably only play, I don't know, I'll probably play this last match, and then that'll be it. But yeah, this will be a good sample of what it's like to play as an Ork, because you play against Space Marines, and it seems, quite reasonably fair. You can get the jump on Devastators, for example, with a Stormboy, and that's fun, and it makes sense that wouldn't be, difficult for you to win as a fight. And then you'll play against the Eldar and get thrashed by every direction by flying guys with assault rifles, because why the fuck wouldn't you? Why wouldn't that be the thing that happens? The Eldar are vastly, almost comically overpowered. At least they were the last time I played them. So it'll be fun to see if that's still the case. I expect it will be, because I was going to say progress in this game is slow, but it really isn't. Over the past, 2 months, there's been humongous patches and humongous content updates, and that's exactly what it needed. I'm really laggy, aren't I? In my little video there. The video is quite laggy at the moment. Just seeing if it's caught up with me yet. It's not. It's not. It's not. When I was saying it was not, I was flicking my hand, so... Jesus! Wow! It's like watching someone else who looks a lot like me occupy the corner of my screen. That was me going back and forth, and that was me doing it, so there's like... Whack! Wow! There's like 2 seconds on that. That's fucking absurd. I suppose it is trying to load this game, though. I'll see if it, Ah, yes, the melters they have are that word. Yeah, the Eldar have an anti-tank weapon, like anti-vehicle, anti-emplacement weapon, that is fucking mental. It's vastly more powerful than it should ever be. It's absurd. I'm just going to spawn into a tank because fuck it. I do like the vehicles, even though the frame rate is reduced to 7 at the moment. Fuck me. I'm not going to be driving this. I know. Now it's 30. Fucking mint. I do like that the Ork vehicles are clearly just assembled out of bits. Just stuff. At some point somebody found an ice cream van and an arc welder, and they were incredibly happy about the things they could do with that combination of elements. Some would say too happy. How am I getting the fuck up there? Jesus Christ. I didn't get run over there. Did not see that coming. Oh yeah, and you obviously, friendly fire's on, and you clearly can just get fucking run the fuck over by your friends. Which is fun. Yeah, the fucking frame rate here is terrible. Like, usually, I don't have these kind of problems. I am running a graphics card that's a couple of years old, I will admit. It's a 770. So it wasn't cheap by any means, but it's certainly not what you'd consider top end anymore. I'm actually going to be upgrading that quite soon. Oh, just... yeah. Alright. I expected a bit more resistance. The Eldar are going to be somewhere. I realised that moments before this match started, I said that it was going to be an absolute unfair stomping. And now we're actually not seeing anyone yet. But if anyone was here, I guarantee you they'd have killed me. There's a guy there. There's a guy there. Fuck you, mate. I know, I'm doing alright. I mean, that was one guy and there was 2 of us, and we just ganged up and stomped him into a corner. Fuck, hello, lad. Just lean into that there. The Eldar, you'll notice. Huh. Well. That was quick. Yeah, I'm getting a full 16 milliseconds of latency. Which is quite good, considering the fucking frame rate I'm chugging along at. Yeah, I think I'm probably going to call it quits there, actually, because this has been more of a test of my internet capability than anything else. And I'll tell you, I'm not pleased. Just the frames per fucking second. My CPU is eating shite right now. That's... like, it's not crap. It's not as good as it should be, clearly, but it's not crap. But, yeah, I think that'll be it for this stream. This has been Eternal Crusade. It's not where it should be. It's not worth 40 quid, but you can get it for 25 if you prefer to go to disreputable sources. And it is worth that, probably, to you if you have a couple of friends and you want to boff about in the future shooting stupid weapons at each other. And preferably the enemy. It does work very well with the whole, like, you form a small group and go and do small group objectives while a larger fight rages around you, and that's, I think, the intention. But it doesn't feel, at the moment at least, like what it should be. Like, it doesn't feel like 40 quid's worth. It isn't £40 worth. But it is fun, and if for some reason you have lost the concept of what money's actually worth to you, then it might be 40 quid's worth. Or more likely, if you're the kind of person who is not afraid to go onto a disreputable key site and get it from there, because I know it is available elsewhere. I didn't get it from there myself. I backed this sucker fucking months ago. Many moons ago, probably about a year and a half at this point, and it was promised. There was a lot of big words said, and it's not all of them have come true. Sadly, but some of them have. It is not unenjoyable. I am probably more of a fan of it than I would be just because I like 40k. I like the stupid fucking ridiculous drama that they've, for some reason, believe exists in this future filled with orcs and elves and god emperors who are a bit shit and just sit in a chair all day, shitting into a bucket and eating psychic people. And that's it. That's pretty much. That's all there is on this one. I'm gonna hit the button this time. I'm gonna do it first time because I'm fucking amazing. I don't make the same mistake twice. Go away.